Okay, please, can Mr. Prashant Kumar unmute himself and take the opening prayer for us? I am not seeing Mrs. Rashidat's present here. Please, Mr. Prashant Kumar, can you unmute yourself? Okay, sorry, Mr. Rashidat says she's on the call. Please unmute yourself, Mrs. Rashidat, and take the opening prayer. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I think it's the naming on my Zoom, this thing that caused the confusion. So I'm sorry about that. Okay. We give thanks to Almighty God for sparing our lives to see this moment. And I pray in His infinite mercy, He grants us more and more of this positive, this positive impact talk, and may He guide and direct us in all our doings. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mrs. Rashida. Amen. Thank you for that wonderful prayers. Now we'll move to the welcome address. Give me a minute. So, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you all to our World Migratory Birthday event. It's a privilege to gather with all of you today, no matter where you are in the world, as we celebrate this special occasion and the remarkable phenomenon that is bird migration. As we come together virtually, we are reminded of the shared responsibility we have to protect migratory birds, creatures that travel vast distance, crossing borders, ocean, and continents. These birds are symbols of the interconnectedness of our ecosystem, and today we celebrate not only their incredible journeys, but also the habitats and communities that support them along the way. The theme for World Migratory Bird Day 2024 is Protect Insect, Protect Bird, and this is significant, drawing our attention to the importance of conserving insect population to support bird survival and biodiversity. This underscores the importance of collective action in safeguarding the future of migratory birds whose population face increasing threats from habitat loss, climate change, and human activities. In this webinar, we are privileged to hear from leading experts, conservationists, and passionate advocates who will share their insights on bird migration patterns, conservation strategies, and the critical work being done to protect these species and their habitats. So I encourage you all to engage, to ask questions, and to take inspirations from today's discussions as we will explore how we can all contribute to the preservation of migratory birds. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the individuals and organizations who have made today's event possible and for the incredible work being done worldwide to conserve migratory birds. Your efforts are helpful to ensure that future generations can continue to marvel at the beauty and wonder of these birds as they travel our skies. Once again, welcome and thank you for being here and for joining us in this global celebration of migratory birds. Together, we can ensure their survival and the health of our planet's ecosystem. So let's make most of today's opportunity to learn, to share, and to inspire each other action. Happy World Migratory Bird. Enjoy the webinar as we continue. So I would like to welcome our guest speakers for today. We have Dr. Suleiman Inuwa Mohammed. who is an ornithologist, an ecologist, and conservation biologist with extensive experience in studying and conserving biodiversity. His work focuses on understanding and protecting ecosystem with a particular emphasis on bird species and their habitats. You're welcome, sir. We're happy to have you here. He is the principal investigator and grant winner of the 2021 TED Fund National Research Grant to carry out 2 years research on biomapping of biodiversity in Baturia and Yankari Game Reserve. He is also among the team that won the 2023 National Research Grant. He's a United Nations consultant and the founder of Expanet Consulting. Currently, he's an associate professor in biology department, Federal University, Duse in Jigawa State. He's dedicated to advancing conservation efforts through research, fieldwork, and community engagement to promote sustainable environmental practices. We're glad to have you here in our midst. We're grateful that you're here to share your vast knowledge with us, and we're not taking this opportunity for granted. We have Mr. Mohammed Bui Garba as our second speaker for today, and he is currently the head of the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, NCF, Abuja Policy Office, where he monitors and implements projects that are funded by the organization and other international partners. He also conducts research to develop programs and funding proposals, lobby relevant government agencies to enact and implement policies that can promote biodiversity protection and natural resources conservation, and raising awareness among stakeholders on the need to imbibe the concept of sustainable use of the natural resources and landscape management. He is the current national focal point for communication, education, and public awareness, CEPA, for the United Nations Environmental Program/Agreement on the Conservation of African Eurasian Migratory Waterbeds. And the current national focal point for scientific and technical review panel for Ramsar Convention. Thank you so much for having you here today, sir. We are honored to have you in our midst today. Then our third speaker for today is Mr. Henry Hanson Jr. He holds his first degree in environmental management and toxicology. He is currently the project officer at the NCF Hadija Nguru Wetland Conservation Project, Nguru Yobe State. He also works for the NCF. He performs the role of providing administrative and technical function to ensure safety of NCF/HNWCP project properties at the project field office. He mobilizes and or liaises with the relevant local stakeholder, line institution, including schools for sustainability of project intervention in Yobe and Jigawa states respectively. He campaigned against unsustainable resource use while promoting environmental education. He's also involved in many other projects like conducting annual water bed census of the Hadija Nguru wetland, establishing environmental conservation clubs in over 60 schools across Yobe and Jigawa states respectively, and many others. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us today. We are honored to have you. Then our last speaker for today will be Mr. Felix Olusola Aboyomi, who is the founder and CEO of the Wildlife of Africa Conservation Initiative, WASI. He has dedicated his life to the protection and preservation of African wildlife and natural habitat. Felix has led WASI to become a significant force in raising awareness and driving conservation efforts across the continent with a deep-rooted passion for environmental advocacy. Felix academic journey took him from Nigeria to Spain, where he earned a master's degree in wildlife management and conservation from the International University of Andalusia. Currently, Felix is pursuing an EdD in education and professional practices with a specialization in environmental education sustainability at Antioch University, USA, further solidifying his expertise in environmental education. Throughout his career, Felix has continuously expanded his knowledge and skills, earning certificates in social entrepreneurship and travel consulting, financial planning, entrepreneurship, and various aspects of environmental management and sustainability. His diverse skill set includes species conservation, environmental compliance, project management, and stakeholders collaboration, making him a well-rounded leader in the field. In addition to this qualification, which complements his work in conservation by enhancing his ability to create and manage initiatives that had both social and environmental impact. We're honored to have you here in our midst. We're grateful that you're always pushing us and pushing WASI to the greater heights, ensuring that a lot of people out there get to advocate for the voiceless, which are the wildlife. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Please, if our speakers are here, can they kindly unmute themselves and say something? Mr. Dr. Suleiman Mohammed, if you're here, please, can you just unmute yourself and just say hi to us, please? Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone, the organizers and then all the participants. I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed Boygarba, if you're here, please, can you kindly help say hi, or mute yourself and say hi?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mohammed Garba Boyi. I'm glad to be here, and I will share my presentation with you shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Mr. Harry Hanson Jr., please, if you're here, can you unmute yourself and say hi to us? Okay, I believe he's still on his way, if he's not here yet. Please, Mr. Felix Olusola Abayomi, can you unmute yourself and say hi to us? Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for honoring our invitation. And let's have a good time. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, we can hear you now, sir. Yes.
Very well. Like I said, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I am Harry Hansen, and I'm pleased to be here. And I thank everyone for being here and the organizers for finding me worthy to be part of this discussion.
Thank you so much for having you here. And I want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone. I may not be opportune to mention all your names, but you are all important to us. And we're grateful that you took out time to be here with us today. We're not taking this act for granted. We say thank you so much for being part of this event. Thank you to the Executive Director of WASI. He is always pushing us, and everyone that is here, every member, every volunteer of WASI, and everyone that saw the publicity of this event and felt it wise to be here with us today. So we're not taking that act for granted. We want to say a big thank you to all of you and welcome you all to this great event. So moving on to the purpose of this webinar, we all know that migratory birds face a lot of things. So this webinar aims to raise awareness about the importance of migratory birds and the need to protect their habitats. This serves as an educational platform to highlight the challenges migratory birds face, to promote their conservation efforts, and to encourage global collaboration to protect migratory species, to engage participants, which is everyone that is here today, through discussion and interaction sessions focused on migratory birds' behavior, migration pattern, and ecosystem impact. And lastly, to inspire action, empowering and encouraging everyone to support the protection of migratory birds and their habitat. So this is the purpose why we at WASE feel that we should organize this webinar, because it's important that we educate the wider people about the threats that migratory birds are facing, and to encourage them to take actions, because we can't do it alone. We need everybody to come together to collaborate and, work on conserving this bird. So as you sit tight to hear from the experts, we hope that you will pick one or two things that you would you will pick one or two things that will be impactful to you, and you will take actions from those things in the conservation of migratory birds. So thank you, as we make welcome our Executive Director, Mr. Francis Ogwaju, for his opening remark. Mr. Francis, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's afternoon already here, so I would work with our time down here. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Perpetual, Director of Operations, for that beautiful welcome address. And also, I want to appreciate Mrs. Rashida for the opening prayer, and also want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all our seasoned speakers who have made out time from their busy schedule to attend today's webinar, to share in their wealth of knowledge, and to help raise more awareness on migratory birds. I want to thank each and every one of you. And also, I'm Francis Ogwaju, the Executive Director of the Wildlife of Africa Conservation Initiative. On behalf of WASI, I welcome you all to World Migratory Bird Day 2024. We are super excited to have as many of you gathered here today to discuss migratory birds. And the theme for today is Flyways to the Future, Safeguarding Migratory Birds and Their Habitats. Today's event highlights the vital role that migratory birds play in our ecosystem. And we have an excellent lineup of speakers, just like my colleague, Mrs. Perpetual, mentioned, in the presence of Dr. Suleiman Inuwa Mohammed, Mr. Mohammed Boyi Garba, Mr. Harry Hansen Jr., and Mr. Felix. I want to appreciate them and thank them once again for making our time to attend. I want to assure everyone here that all our speakers are seasoned experts and professionals in conservation and wildlife management. Also, we have engaging activities planned to enhance your experience, and I hope you all have a wonderful time today. Most importantly, I also want to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge our sponsors and partners for their invaluable support. A&F Wildlife Foundation USA and Adrian Felix Corporation. Thank you for making this event possible. We encourage you to participate actively throughout the day by sharing your thoughts and asking questions when the time arises. And not to forget our host, Wasi. Thank you for making this event possible. Okay, and a brief about WASI. The Wildlife of Africa Conservation Initiative, WASI, is a dedicated wildlife conservation, research, education, and research institution. Our vision is to inspire a growing generation that is knowledgeable and motivated to protect wildlife and the environment we share. We aim to achieve this through partnerships with individuals, educational institutions, conservation centers, research institutions, non-governmental organizations, private sector, cultural organizations, and other wildlife enthusiasts and friends of the earth. Our focus is on promoting appreciation and knowledge of African fauna and flora, especially among the youth, through educational experiences that foster a love for all living things. And we encourage everyone to be a part of it. Our approach involves developing and sharing a range of educational resources, and we believe in collaborative efforts for sustainable development, and we look forward to working with all stakeholders to achieve this goal. You can visit WASI via our website through www.wildlifeofafrica.org, or you can send us an email at info@wildlifeofafrica.org. Now, and without ado, I will hand over to our moderator, Mrs. Perpetual, to carry on with the event. Thank you all for joining, and I want to guarantee and assure you guys that you would be greatly impacted today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. I appreciate you for that wonderful opening remarks. Next on our agenda is the presentation by our first speaker, which is Dr. Suleiman Inuwa Mohammed. Sir, if you are ready, please can you kindly share your screen with us while you give your presentation? Thank you so much.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, good. My name is Suleiman Ino Mohammed, and I work with Federal University Duse in Jigawa State. So my presentation is going to center around a bit background and also on the World Migratory Bird Day. So globally, we have around 11,000 bird species. And out of these 11,000, 4,000 are migrant bird species. So this shows the global distribution of bird species according to IUCN Red List of Threatened Bird Species. So IUCN stands for the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. So if we can look at the figure, we can see close to 1,500 have been classified as globally threatened. Some of them have been classified as critically endangered, some as endangered, some as vulnerable. And this is quite alarming, and hence the need for the conservation of bird species. Now, down to Nigeria, we have about 866 bird species, placing Nigeria at the 22nd position. This is according to BirdLife International. So out of this figure, 254 of them are migratory bird species, and mostly they are Palearctic migrant coming from the Europe area. Now, what is bird migration? So bird migration is simply the regular movement of birds from one part of the world to the another and back. And somebody will ask, are birds migrating, and why are they migrating? It is simply because at some period, conditions at breeding sites becomes very unfavorable. So these birds will have to move to areas where they find better ecological conditions, where conditions are favorable to them, okay? And that's why they migrate. And now, these birds follow so many routes during their migrations. These routes, we call them flyways. There are about 8 to 9 flyways across the globe. Those flyways that cut across Nigeria are the East Atlantic Flyway and the West Asian East African Flyway. So these two flyways are the ones that cut across Africa and Nigeria inclusive. Now, all these flyways have been categorized into what we refer to the America, Africa, Eurasia, and Asia Pacific. Now, before these birds embark on that taxing journey, they will have to eat a lot of food and then store the fat, the energy in form of fat. And this will give them energy to be able to carry out the long distance and exhausting migration. This is called hyperphagia. So it's a process of eating enough food and storing this food in form of fat so that these birds can use the energy during their migration. Certain bird species like the Blackpool warbler can double their body weight before embarking on migration. Like humans, we use Waze, we use Google Maps and other compass to navigate our own ways. These birds, during their migration, they use information from the sun, from the stars, and also from the magnetic field to navigate their ways. It has also been confirmed that these birds also use landmarks from the earth to find their ways during migration. So World Migratory Bird Day was first celebrated on the 9th of April in 2006 in one of the popular reserves in Kenya known as the Ole Ari Inyoro Reserve in Kenya. So that was the first celebration of the World Migratory Bird Day. And since then, this has continued globally until now. So the World Migratory Bird Day is simply an annual event that is aimed at creating awareness on the importance on conserving migratory bird species, and also the need for international cooperation to conserve these birds. Now, these three organizations, the IWA, the CMS, and the Environment for the Americas. IWA stands for the African Eurasia Water Birds Agreement. CMS stands for Convention on Migratory Species, and then Environment for the Americas. These are the key organizations that support the celebration of World Migratory Bird Day globally. Now, when is World Migratory Bird Day? So World Migratory Bird Day is every second Saturday of the months of May and October. So World Migratory Bird Day is celebrated twice a year to mark the arrivals of these migratory birds and also the departure of these migratory birds. So this year on May 11, we celebrated their departure in Nigeria. And then now we are celebrating their arrivals in October. In other parts of the world, it will be the other way around. When we are celebrating their arrival, they are celebrating their departure, and vice versa. So World Migratory Bird Day is every second Saturday of the months of May and October. And so in 2024, 11th May and 12th October are the World Migratory Bird Day. Now, every year, this World Migratory Bird Day comes with a theme. For this year, the theme is Protect Insects and Protect Birds. Now, insects provide food and energy for migratory bird species, especially during the breeding period and during migration. Unfortunately for these birds, the timing of bird migration often coincides with peak insect abundance at stopover locations, so supplying them with enough nourishment to replenish their energy reserves before continuing their journey. Therefore, loss of insects has severe consequences on bird survival. So natural habitats like grassland, wetlands, forests have now been converted into agriculture. And unfortunately, the use of pesticides and herbicides have caused decline in insect population. And this is quite alarming. So the decline in insect can actually affect the abundance and diversity of birds species, and hence the need for proactive conservation measures. So these measures include reducing the use of pesticides, reducing the use of fertilizers, and if possible, we can switch to organic farming. And this will help in the conservation of insects and invariably the conservation of bird species. Now, these are some of the amazing facts about migratory bird species. Now, the bar-headed geese are the highest flying migratory birds. They have been recorded to cover up to 5.5 miles above sea level. So apart from the rupels and the griffon vulture, no any other bird can fly at high altitude like the bar-headed geese. This is Arctic tern. Arctic tern has the longest migration of any bird. These birds have been recorded to fly from the Arctic region to the Antarctica, that is from the top of the world to the bottom of the world, and they cover 49,700 miles every year. Now, others such as the short-tailed shearwater, the red knot, they are also long-distance migrants. So not all birds that fly, that migrate. Other birds such as the Adélie penguins can trek and cover up to 13,000 kilometers annually. Now, out of those migratory birds that migrate down to Nigeria, we have the northern whittier, the Onante. Onante is a long-distance migrant that frequents Nigeria every year. This is also a long-distance migrant and has been recorded to cover more than 9,000 miles each year from the Arctic region to Africa, and is one of the largest ranges of any songbird. Now, the award for fastest bird goes to the great snipe. It has been recorded to cover 4,200 miles at the speed of 60 miles per hour. Other birds like the peregrine falcon are also very, very fast. But peregrine falcon is fast when it's pursuing its prey. But in terms of long distance, the great snipe can outrun any other birds on the planet. The bar-tailed godwit is a long-distance migrant and is the only bird that can fly for more than 13,000 kilometers without stopping. So it's the longest recorded non-stop flight of any bird, the bar-tailed godwit. Other birds, like I said, that do not fly, like the penguins, the emus, also migrate. So thank you for listening. If anyone has questions, I am available to respond to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate that wonderful presentation. It's very, very, very impactful. I learned a lot of things from this presentation that I didn't even know in the first place. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that have learned something new. So please, if you have your question, like through the agenda, we would see interactive session. So how we're going to do it is after every presentation, we'll just have a bit more interactive session where you ask questions based on the presentation that has gone out. So if you have any question, please kindly right now. Kindly indicate if you have a question. Thank you. Or you okay, Mr. Felix Odusala is raising his hand. So if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Sulaiman, I find it quite interesting that you did mention that the emu, that they do migrate. I know people hold some of these species in farms and zoos and all that. I recently saw a group of emus on a farm around here, and I'm having this thought now that when with you mentioning that they do migrate, so I'm beginning to wonder what happens to birds, like that are held in captivity, which are by nature supposed to migrate, but are being held in captivity. So what happens to them in terms of their their ecology, their behavior, their senses and everything, their ability to even reproduce? Or what happens?
Thank you very much, Mr. Felix, for this beautiful question. Actually, as conservationists, we do not abide the idea of keeping animals in the zoo, and we prefer what we refer to as the in situ conservation methods where you conserve animals in their natural environment. So some of these disadvantages of keeping animals in the zoo is that they tend to lose their kind of culture and some of their behavior. For example, if you keep a lion in the zoo, and if you release this lion into the wild, it may find it very difficult to survive because it doesn't know how to make a kill. Some of the cultures has been lost already. So of course, those animals that are being kept in the zoo actually lost some of their behavior, and we do not encourage that. And that's why when you take them to the wild, they find it very, very difficult to survive. So we do not buy that idea. We prefer what we call the in situ conservation method. You keep them in their natural environments. So even if you release them, they cannot migrate because they don't know. They've not learned that from their parents. So most of these behavior are learned behavior. They learn, some of them are innate behavior, some of them are learned behavior. They learn from what they see the parents doing, what they see their friends, colleagues doing. So all of that is lost.
I don't know if your question has been answered. Okay. We have Mr. Mohammed Inusa raising his hand, so you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Then after you, we have Mr. Olutunji Olumide. Thank you, sir.
All protocols observed. Good afternoon, Mr. Presenter. I am Mohammed Inusa Unguru, a PhD student. I'm working on a migratory bird species, red-billed quail. Red-billed quail happen to be a migrant pest, damaging crop to farmers. So when you mention the issue of bird conservation to farmers, they found it something very unusual. So presentation, you mentioned the use of organic farming, reducing the use of pesticide, which are in line with conservation. But the problem, as we have obtainable here in Hadija Unguru wetland area, my area of study, most of the farmers are still practicing subsistence farming, using chemicals, as a means of clearing away red-billed quail. And in that instance, a kind of conflict of interest arise between farmers and conservationists. At times, as a researcher, I was a student, I find it difficult to defend the issue of conservation to the farmers. How do we come about this, sir?
Thank you very much, Madam Mohamed Inusa. A very interesting question indeed. Actually, you're not the only one having this kind of challenge. We also, as conservationists, have this kind of challenge. You tell people, oh, we need to conserve these reptiles, snakes, don't kill snakes. They tell you, oh no, snakes change that and that. Why? We must kill them. And now you come to this area, especially the northern part, northwest here, you come to Jigawa, you go to Yobe, Borno, you have the problem of the red-billed quail, which we call the quail birds. They are called jambaki in Hausa or jambai. So actually, these are agricultural pests. They disturb the farmlands around those areas. And then you come and tell these people, look, conserve these birds. They will tell you, these birds are destroying our farms. How can you tell us to conserve them? So we understand. Of course, some of the species, we know they are pests, and we are finding a better way of a solution. I've started writing a proposal on this red-billed quail. We are trying to look at the best method of controlling quail birds in northern Nigeria. The best method, ecologically friendly. Yes, so we are going to look at, because what these people have been doing, they have been using chemicals and scarecrows on their farmlands. And sometimes these scarecrows are not that effective. So we are trying to try different methods, the use of raptors, the use of cords, and other methods, and see which one will best control these quelea birds and without having effect on the farmlands. So we understand that is a very big challenge, but you always have a way of, explaining to these people. Yeah, you tell them not all species are bad, but quelea bird, we know they're agricultural pests, and we are looking for the best way to control these birds so that they stop disturbing you. So I'm actually writing that proposal, and in fact, I've sent one for funding. So I hope we are able to secure the fund. Once we do that, we are going to travel around those areas and try the different methods and see which one will best control quelea without having any ecological damage.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
And if I may add to that, I also am aware of a system in which they can choose the type of crop that is planted during the migration period. Maybe a plant that is not attractive to that particular species, and they can plant that, and then when they are not migrating, they can plant the other. I mean, I've heard such suggestions before, so I don't know if that is something you are also considering, Doctor.
Okay. Yeah, that can help, but when you look at our soil here, there are certain crops that do well in this in the northern part. For example, the millets, rice, and sometimes maize. So these are the commonly planted crops. And unfortunately, if you bring another crops, it may not do well. So anyway, we'll put that into consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And Mr. Olutunji Olumide, I don't know if you still have a question. You can unmute yourself now and ask.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Olatunji from Abuja Bird Club. Actually, I just want to know about this Arctic thorns. Are they the same thing with common thorns? And because I think last year or last 2 years, this common thorns was found in Lagos, around that Lekki area. Because I have a friend that used to take wildlife photography over there. I don't know whether Arctic thorns too can also be found in that particular habitat.
Okay, thank you very much, Olatunji. You are from Abuja Bird Club. Okay, good. So actually in Nigeria, we don't have common tern in Nigeria. We have about 3 to 4 species of terns that have been recorded in Nigeria. We have the Wisconsin tern, we have the common tern, we have the little tern, we have the gold-billed terns. These 4 are very common, but I am not sure if we've ever recorded Arctic tern in Nigeria. So anyway, if you have the bird book, which we call the Birds of Western Africa, this book actually you can always open and go to where you can find terns and check the distribution. So all their distribution and here, and it can even tell you whether it is a resident species or it's migratory species. Is it a breeding migrant or non-breeding migrant? So you can check the range. But so far, we've only recorded 4 species of terns: the Wisconsin tern, little tern, gold-billed tern, and the common tern, and not as I know of the Arctic tern.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking this question is that because I saw in your presentation you are using Arctic tern, I was like, you should have used a bird that is occurring in Nigeria to do the presentation. But that was a very good presentation. I was privileged to also present yesterday at the National Park headquarters on this particular topic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olatunji. Sorry, I pronounced your name as Olutunji the first time.
No problem.
I'm sorry for that. So we have the next person as
Dr. Sulaiman, that book, is it can you help source for it if we needed more copies?
No problem. So you can chat me up after the presentation.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We have Miss Lydia A. Nyam. raising her hand. Please unmute yourself before I read the question in the comment section so we can proceed to the next presentation.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Doctor, thank you so much for your presentation. Even though I joined a little bit late, but I'm quite impressed to hear about the issue on the Jambaki, which is the red quillia bed. I work with the Ministry of Agri, and it's been like one of the key issues in one of our divisions, pest control division. And I remember one time there was an intervention fund that was provided for the control of the transboundary pest. So I heard you mentioning applying for a grant to help control this pest. So I don't know, have you considered maybe linking up with the government? Because I think this is like a very, very important kind of intervention for the farmers, because if we keep working in silos, we might not make the needed impact when it comes to controlling this transboundary pest. So I was wondering if it's possible, or if you had thought about linking up with the government after getting maybe like foreign funding, you also link up with the government if there are also like available funds that you can put your hands together and see that you make like a bigger impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. Actually, you know, sometimes how things work in Nigeria is quite a bit, you know, difficult. Sometimes you need to know somebody that can, you know, but, you know, applying international grant is very easy. They look at your proposal, they see the quality of your proposals, and they see if it's worth funding, and then they fund you. Notwithstanding, I'm going, I think the organizers will share my contact with you. So please, we can link up after the presentation and look at the possibility of applying to Ministry of Agriculture and other possible funding here in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So
Thank
I'll
you,
read
sir.
out a question from Mrs. Rashida. She said, how do we reduce human activities that affect these birds, especially in Lagos, Nigeria? What are little things that can be done? So that's her question.
Okay, thank you very much. It's just that we don't have enough time, but that's why I gave a very short presentation. Otherwise, I would have also loved to talk on the threats of these these migratory birds face, and also ways in which we can we can outcome or we can override these threats. Anyway, it depends on the areas where you are, but the general theme is pollution. Of course, it can be plastic pollution, it can be, you know, so habitat loss, that is cutting down of trees, you know, cutting down of trees, we display their habitats, and also overgrazing is one of the threats. So how to control this threat is we should stop these negative activities, one. Two, if you have any conservation club around you, I know in Lagos, there should be Lagos Conservation Club. There's also NCF, Nigerian Conservation Foundation. I think they have the headquarters at Aja. So I'm sure Mohammed Boyi will say more about that. So you can go to NCF and see how you can participate in conserving this bird species.
Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Boy Garba is raising his hand. That will be the last question on this segment before we move to the next segment. Please, Mr. Boy Garba, please go ahead and ask your question. Okay, I think he's having network issue. Mr. Longji Bako said there is Lakey Bed Club, LBC. So, Mrs. Rashid, that's for your attention. Mr. Boy Garba, Are you able to unmute to speak? We are not hearing you, sir. Can you speak up? We still can't hear you, sir. We are not hearing you, sir. I don't know. Sir, maybe during your presentation you can
Or you
make your
can type it.
contributions,
You can put his
or you
question
can
in.
type it, sir, because we
Yeah,
can
so
hear
let's
you.
move forward.
Yes, sir. Next is a presentation by Mr. Mohamed Boy Garba, and I don't know, this one we're unable to hear him now. He sent his clip and I'll be sharing it. Sir, are you able to speak now so that I can share your presentation?
He doesn't seem to have voice anymore.
I don't know, maybe it's having issue connecting the audio or something.
Can you mute and call him?
Okay. I've called him, but he's still struggling to hear me. I don't know, maybe it's from his device, so maybe we can move to the next speaker before he's able to stabilize.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
So
just saying connecting to audio, so it means it's having issues connecting
yes,
to his audio. So let's
yeah.
move on to the speaker.
Sir, if you can hear Mr. Mohamed Boyi, please, if you can hear me, maybe you sign out of the Zoom meeting, sign back. Maybe it will help. It will help your network, maybe.
So in the meantime, can I go with mine? Because since I have
Yes,
good network
yes,
at the
sir.
moment, I'm also struggling with network.
Yes, sir.
I am in fact outside, so I can go with mine. You can help me with my slides from there so that I
Yes, sir.
can use the one from this end, please.
Yes, sir. I'm sharing your slide now. So here it is.
All right. Good day, everybody.
Welcome, sir.
Apologies to
Good day, sir.
for
Welcome.
taking the position. I'm sure network is funny, and where I am is equally bad too. I am going to talk on the importance of bird migration. And I also want to say thank you to the first speaker, Dr. Suleiman, for a brilliant presentation. That was very insightful. And most of the things he has talked about is also contained in what I'm about to say. However, I will begin mine. The topic is importance of bird migration. And before we get there, let me begin with what migration is all about. And for the purpose of this discussion, I will begin by defining bird migration. Bird migration is the seasonal movement of birds between breeding and stopover sites, often spanning thousands of miles. Next slide. Now we look at types of migration. We have long-distance migration. This involves traveling between continents or regions. We also have short-distance migration. This involves moving within a region or country. We have eruptive migration. This involves sudden, large-scale movement in response to food availability. Altitudinal migration. This has to do with seasonal movement up or down mountains. Now, why do birds migrate? One, bird migrates mostly for the following reasons, which include food availability, breeding and nesting opportunities, genetic diversity, suitable climate and weather, and for predator avoidance. Now let's look at the migration patterns and as it relates to Nigeria. Bird migration comes in different patterns, and Nigeria is an essential stopover point for many migratory bird species, particularly those traveling between Europe, Asia, and Africa. Now let's look at the overview. From the West African flyways, these connect Europe to West Africa, passing through Nigeria. Central African flyway, this links Europe to Africa, with Nigeria as a key stopover. The route between East Africa flyway connects Europe to East Africa, with some species passing through Nigeria still. The corridors are regarded as narrow migration routes. For example, Central American corridor. When we say stopover site, it's a critical thing in bird migration. And these sites include wetlands, like the Dejanguru wetlands, and forests. Migratory bird species in the world. Estimating exact number of migratory birds worldwide is quite challenging. However, as it constantly, because of its constant various factors that contribute to its to this, making it challenging. But from the IUCN and BirdLife International records, a total of 40% of the world's 10,000 bird species migrate. That amounts to about 4,000 species, estimated to be at between 15 to 20,000, 20 billion individual birds migrating. Migratory bird species continue. Breakdown shows in regions. In Africa, Eurasia flyway, we have 2 to 3 billion individual birds. That is had to do with Europe, Asia, and Africa flyway. Americas, we have 1 to 2 billion individual birds. For example, the North America and South America. The East Asian and Australian flyway, we have 1 to 2 billion individual birds. In Central Asia, expanding to Asia flyway, we have about 500 million to 1 billion individual birds. In notable migration individual bird population includes as follows. From the species of the water birds, that is waterfowl, we have 1 to 2 billion. That includes ducks, geese, and swans. The shorebirds, we have about 500 million to 1 billion. This includes sandpipers and plovers. The songbirds, we have 1 to 2 billion. This includes warblers and sparrows. Then the raptors, we have individual of 1 million to 500 million. This includes hawks and eagles. Looking at the migratory bird species in Nigeria, Nigeria is home to over 975 bird species. And among these, many are migratory birds. While the exact number of migratory species isn't specified, although agreeable, we can look at some of the families that are known to migrate. This includes waterfowl, shorebirds, raptors, like Montagu's harrier migrate through Nigeria, the honey buzzard. Songbirds, many songbird species, including the European swallow and yellow wagtail, make a stop on their migratory journey in Nigeria. Now, let's go to the importance of bird migration. I haven't talked about the migration and other stories that are associated with it. Bird migration plays a vital role in maintaining healthy ecosystems, economies, and cultures worldwide. Furthermore, bird migration highlights the interconnectedness of ecosystems, cultures, and economies, emphasizing the need for international cooperation and conservation efforts. Here are the key importance of bird migration. Ecologically speaking, importance of bird migration include pollination and seed dispersal. It also includes pest control. It also includes nutrition transport, droppings as fertilizer, for example, food source for predators, maintaining the ecosystem balance. From the economic importance, I have 5 among the many. Ecotourism, which include bird watching. Somebody talked about Abuja Bird Club, Lekki Bird Club, Nguru Wetland Bird Club, Duse Bird Club, and the likes. So for ecotourism, bird watching, this is one of them. Under agriculture, we have pest control and pollination. We also have hunting and game management as economic importance. We have bird-related industries that engage quite a number of people, and many are gainfully employed in bird seeds and bedding gear manufacturing. In terms of inspirational value, we can talk about art, literature, and culture. In cultural importance, spiritual and symbolic significance is one of the importance of bird migration. Traditional hunting and gathering practices also happens in our local settings. Community engagements, birding festivals for one, brings cultural importance of birds to mind. Educational opportunities, This includes research findings like Dr. Suleiman talked about trying to do more research in order to get more findings on birds related issues. Now, promoting international cooperation and conservation. The countries of the flyways are doing so much to ensure that birds that go from the breeding ground to the wintering ground or vice versa are being protected from the harms and threats that they experience in their journeys. So it brings countries and international organizations to cooperate in conserving and protecting these bird species. Scientific. It also includes migration patterns, inform weather forecasting, insight into navigation and orientation of these birds, disease transmission studies, and understanding adaptation and evolution of these birds. Conservation importance. Protecting migratory corridors, preserving habitat diversity, managing human-bird conflicts, promoting sustainable land use practices, and addressing climate change impacts. For personal importance, recreation and leisure, which brings to mind birding, that people form clubs and associations just to bring themselves together to go catching fun, climbing the hills and mountains and forests and wetlands on the water. We also have connection to nature. It makes you interact with nature in the course of birding. Personal growth and transformation. Many people find this a hobby, and it helps them to think deeply about nature and understanding what nature holds for mankind. Stress relief and mental well-being. When you find yourself birding, it brings you some kind of joy and relief from the everyday hazard and hustles. It helps you overcome some burdens and pressure of life. So more or less, it's a coping mechanism to the current economic realities in Nigeria for one, and other things that could bother you and weigh you down. Now, lastly on this, inspiration and creativity. It makes you think deeply about things, about nature. Now, somebody talked about traits, which Dr. Suleiman was able to highlight. And I have 5 traits to these birds, the migratory birds in focus. These include habitat destruction. It also includes climate change impact as a threat. Hunting and poaching is a threat. Pollution of our waterways, also a threat, especially to the water-related birds. Human disturbance for many things like agriculture, like building, urbanization, and population expansion and explosion, even in communities. These are some of the threats that comes to mind in having this in focus. Now, what are the recommendations to addressing the highlighted threats? Protecting key habitats is one we can recommend. International cooperation and research is what one can recommend. Implementing sustainable agricultural practices, reducing pollution, and promoting ecotourism. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. That was really, really insightful. Now it's time for interactive session. If you have a question on the segment, please kindly indicate before we move to the next. And we have our founder, Mr. Felix. Unmute yourself, sir, and ask your question.
Mine is a little bit of a question, but more of a comment, because I think this presentation should have been, or we can also name it, the importance of Nigeria to migratory bird migration. Because from your presentation, Mr. Ari, I can see that Nigeria is significant and is impacted significantly, in the migration of these birds. So we need to find a way to put a spotlight on Nigeria. I know back around 2016, 17, we did campaign against people that capture migratory birds and sell them during the season, because these birds are looking different and they look special, they look exotic. So I don't know if that is still going on in the country, but I know we did campaign back then. So I really appreciate you for highlighting the importance, not just of the migration of these birds, but for the importance of Nigeria, in the migration.
Thank you so much for that contribution. If you have any other question, because I'm not seeing any other hand being raised, so I assume we don't have any other question on this segment, so that we can move to the next speaker, Mr. Mohamed Bouigarba, for his presentation, and I will be sharing his presentation. Sir, are we good to go, sir? You can unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
And can you also see me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. Sorry for the hitch.
No problem. So I'll be sharing your documents now, so you can go
Please
ahead.
go ahead. Thank you very much.
Sir. Okay.
See my screen, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to make this presentation in this World Migratory Bird Day. And honestly speaking, I prepared these slides in a haste when I was coming back from Arusha last night, in fact, in the plane. So if there is any shortcoming, forgive me. It was actually prepared haphazardly. Anyway, my name is Mohamed Oyi, or Mohamed Garba Oyi. I work for the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, and I'm the zonal coordinator who is coordinating the activities of the foundation in the northern part of the country. Obviously, the title of this presentation is Values of Migratory Birds in the Ecosystem. When I was looking at the presentation of Suleiman and that of Harry, in fact, I said, wow, they have in fact they have presented what I'm supposed to present. But anyway, I still have some few things to add. It's been estimated that about 4 billion birds actually patronize Africa, specifically, from Europe, to come and winter and then return. Suleiman mentioned, how they move, how they navigate, and why actually they have to move from Europe to Africa. So I don't need to actually go through that again. But one thing is that, which I need to share is, you see, birds, before they move from Europe, they try in as much as possible to make adequate preparation preparation in terms of, taking too much food, enough food to store it in the form of fats. And they use that actually for the energy that they need to conduct the flight to any location they want to. It's just like an aircraft. If it is taken from Nigeria, let's say to South Africa, it has to have fuel. So it's the same thing with the birds as well. Vis-a-vis, they make use of natural or landmarks on the ground, to find their way, and also some luminous and non-luminous objects, in the sky, to find their direction. So they come to Africa, and they return, and this journey is done on an annual basis. Next slide, please, a picture. Next slide. So when they come to Africa, where do they stay? In fact, the areas or the habitats which the species patronize, if it cut across, there are many of them, in fact. You have oases, wetlands, woodland ecosystem. Next one. No, the one before this one. The one before this one. The one that has areas where habitats where birds actually patronize. Are we together? Are we together? Oh.
Yes, sir.
Share again.
Can you see it now? This one now.
Okay, move to.
Is this the one?
Good.
Can you see my screen, sir?
Sorry.
Can anyone see my screen?
Let me share from this end.
Yes, we
It
can
seems
see.
like there is a mixed up.
Okay, stop sharing.
Okay.
So that
Move to the next one. Let's see.
you can share, sir, from your end.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, well, let me share from this end.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay.
But the line is breaking, I think.
I think he's having a network glitch. That's why he was not able to see my screen.
Can you see it? Can you see my screen?
No,
Not yet.
nothing, sir. Not yet.
Can you see my screen, please? Hello?
Not yet,
Can
sir.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see your.
Can you hear me?
Your presentation.
Okay, I'm sharing from this end.
Sir, we
The
can hear
network.
you, but we're
I
not
think
seeing
it's
your
the
screen,
network from.
sir.
Give it a minute.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you
Yes, we can hear
share
you,
this?
sir.
Can she please share the
Let me
true
share
mail?
again, sir. Don't.
Yeah, what I'm saying. Okay, but I can't see my. Okay, download the one that I sent in the mail, true mail.
Okay,
Download
sir.
the one that I sent. Download the one that I sent to you. That I sent to your mail. The one that I sent to your mail.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'm doing that now.
Please. Very good.
All right, sir.
Perhaps I need to change my location because my office actually is in the garden, and sometimes I face this kind of challenge.
Sorry about that. 1 minute. I'm downloading the one he sent to the email. Sorry. To send download. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, I think we're having a network glitch. I'm also finding it difficult to download the documents
This is
from my
serious.
email.
Can you send it to me? Let me see if I can share. Sure.
I have to download it from the email before I can send it to anyone. So I'm finding it difficult to download it.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
I would suggest while you are at it, can the next speaker, if he's ready and his slides is ready, can he take over while we resolve that of the current speaker?
Yeah, I think that's what we'll have to do. We're sorry for any inconveniences. Please, Mr. Felix is our next speaker, sir. Please, can you go ahead with your presentation? Okay, I think Mr. Boygarba started sharing his screen. Thank you.
Yes, I think let me share from this end. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see your presentation.
Okay, fantastic. Excellent. So I think I can continue, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this is the title, which I've already actually, talked about it. So I'm moving to the next one. Oh, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. It's just showing preview. I'm trying to.
Are you trying to next it?
Yes. I want to put it on slideshow, but
look below your screen.
Actually, it's the. Okay, I'm just coming. Huh. Okay. Ah.
If you look below your screen at the where you have the Zoom.
Yeah, I saw the Zoom, but it's not showing.
Have you clicked on it?
Yes.
The presentation icon.
Yeah. Yeah. Ha.
Hello, Mr. Boy. You're going to click that icon that is close to the adjustment of the Zoom. So this thing that looks like a screen on the left of the Zoom is what you should click on.
That's my problem is that
Look
it's not showing anything.
Below your screen on the right, you would see after the comment icon, the fourth icon after the comment icon, you click on it. Move right.
Okay, just a minute. The issue is that the system, this is serious.
Sir, sir, sorry, I have forwarded it to Mr. Felix. Sir, please, can you help us confirm if you can download it and share from your end? Thank you.
What is your screen doing, Mr. Boy?
It's just showing, it's not on slideshow. So I'm trying to project it to be on slideshow.
Now, can you listen to me? Now, you can see your icon. Yeah. the cursor is moving, right?
Yeah, it's
moving. Can you move your cursor? Yes, can you move your cursor? You see below the presentation, you can see some icons. You can see comments, right?
At the bottom right.
Comments below.
Not really.
Yes,
No,
where
it's
the
not
icon
showing
is
comment.
right now. Can you see
It's
your
actually
cursor?
showing more.
Don't worry,
More.
just listen.
But there is
Move.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Your Zoom, put it in the full, the full screen. Put your Zoom, maybe you have minimized it or something. If it's in the full screen, go below the presentation and then you can see these icons. If you can see notes, comments, then there's an icon, there's another, and then there's slideshow. Click on that icon. That's the slideshow.
My challenge is that it's not even showing the slideshow. All these things that you are saying are not appearing.
Okay.
That's the challenge.
How about on
sir,
top? At the top, you can also see paste, copy, cut. From paste, copy, cut, move towards the right. You will see slideshow, hopefully. At the top. On the left.
Yeah.
I can share for here. So
it's not responding. It's not responding. I think that has to do with my network as well.
Okay, maybe you should double click. Okay.
Sir, please just share for him. Thank you.
Yeah, just share for me. Okay, good. Okay. Is it on slide mode? Slideshow? No. Okay, great. Yes. Yeah, I'm done with this.
Yes, sir.
So let's move to the next one, please. Yeah, as I was saying, in fact, when these birds actually, no, the one before this one, the one before this one. Yeah, that's no. Come back. Not this slide, please. Not this one, please. Not this one. Are we together? Can you hear me? Am I
yes,
muted?
sir.
Okay, please can you go to the slide that has areas and habitats, which the birds, not this one, the one before this one. The one before this one.
Areas and habitats.
The one that has habitats, the title has habitats and areas and habitats.
Yes, this
areas
is
and
areas and habitats, the species patronage.
Not this one. Before this one, there's a slide. Half.
No, this is the area.
Sir, this is the place that has areas and habitats.
No, this is showing values of migratory birds. That is what is showing on my slide.
I think his network is slow.
It's your network, sir, I think.
Okay, sorry. Let me talk about areas and habitats. In fact, what I was trying to say, you see, when migratory birds come to Africa or Nigeria, they use different habitats, and these include oases, wetlands, wetlands, dried savanna, lowland forest, and so many other habitats. So that means that when they come to these places, they have some values which they add to such habitats. One of them, in fact, it's in the area of enriching, that particular habitats, because when they come, the number of species will increase. And what that means? It means that, in fact, the values that this ecosystem enhances in terms of, let's say, in terms of food chain and food web will also, be increased, because so many other species, will be depending on them, either to as a source of food or in terms of enhancing, their performance in the ecosystem as well. So, and again, should we move to the next slide? The next slide. The one that has vultures. Good. And again, some of these species, obviously, they are very, very important to the existence of humans. Some they they pick some of the insects that can even cause problems to humans, insects that can even cause problems to agriculture. In Harris' presentation, he made mention of such values that are really associated with migratory birds. Next one, next slide. Let me be quick, let me be fast. Next slide, please. Next one. Next slide. Are we there? Which one do we have there? Next slide. Next slide.
Sir, I think his network is having issues. So the next slide he's talking about is the one after areas, after the vulture, after the value. So I think his network is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. What is? Okay. So let me use
about economic importance.
Right. So there's one that has fish. Okay. Are we together?
Yes.
There's one that has fish. What I'm trying to say is still in the area of the values that migratory birds actually contribute to the ecosystem. You see, some birds, when they come, they are water birds. They stay on wetlands or lakes, and their droppings actually get down to the bottom of the lake, and that actually assists or helps the phytoplants, plants that grow in water. It serves as fertilizer to them. So these plants, will grow, and that plants also serve as a source of food to the fish. So fish used, in fact, the plants that have actually grown from the fertilizer that was actually provided by the migratory birds. And this will actually provide good catch, or the fishermen will go and make a very good catch, and they will take it to the market and sell. They make some money, and that enhances their livelihood, and of course improve the local economy as well. Should we move to the next? Yes, and apart from actually that, you see, visitors come from different places to come and see or watch these birds, especially when they're here in Africa. And of course, that phenomenon assists in terms of uh, bringing money, to the people, to the locals that are based in such locations, because they take them, to the areas where these birds are to see them. They use their boats. In fact, the guides actually, they get a lot of money. And apart from that, they also buy some items, artifacts, from the communities. And this is like a source of money to the people, and also that improve the economic situation or the local economy of the area. Should we move to the next one? Another value is, in fact, in terms of research and education. You see, I remember during um, the bird flu, researchers actually trooped to areas where migratory birds, patronize, just to check whether, in fact, those birds are healthy or not, or whether they are carriers of this virus and what have you. And apart from that, researchers from different institutions, from different universities, conduct research on these birds. And this also enhances research uh, uh, research in the country, and also if I provide knowledge in terms of the contribution of migratory birds in the society. But then, of course, obviously, apart from all these values, migratory birds, they face a lot of challenges. There are threats. Harry mentioned many, and these threats are actually many. I only outline three of them here. One is illegal hunting. You see, when they come to Africa, the poachers, hunters, they don't care. They just kill any animal or bird they come across. And that is actually a big challenge. And then there's also habitat loss. People cut down trees, they pollute wetland ecosystems. and that affects migratory birds. They affect other animals as well. And obviously, climate change. Climate change is also impacting negatively on some of these habitats. So these are the threats. And obviously, something has to be done. And that is why, next slide, please, the one that has action needed. And that is why we need to actually put hands on deck to ensure that we raise awareness. We enact policies and laws that will actually protect, the migratory birds. How can we do that? We need to engage the local communities. We need to tell them, that look, these birds are very, very important. They assist in terms of checking the insect population that destroy our crops. They, in fact, tell us something about changes in the environment and what have you. And vis-a-vis policy makers as well. They need to come up with policies that will favor or promote the protection of these migratory birds. They are very, very important. And of course, we go to the next action. You see, we have to improve in terms of the way we interact with the environment. We have to mobilize people, engage people to plant more trees so that we can have a very, very good vegetation cover in Nigeria. If you see, it has been estimated that going by the FAO statistics, we have less than 4% vegetation cover in Nigeria, and this is not really good. We need to do something, in terms of improving the vegetation cover by planting more trees. So with this, I will draw a curtain on my presentation, and thank you very much, for giving me this.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. And we're really sorry for the...
And apologize. It is something that has to do with the technology. Thank you very much.
It's not something we can vouch for, so it can misbehave anytime. So
yes. Good.
with Francis Ogwaju raising his hand, please unmute yourself for your question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gaba, for that very powerful and impactful presentation. Although I think it was a network, so I didn't really get what you said. So my question is, it comes from the area of the economic importance. So where you stated the connection, I wanted to know the connection between migratory birds and the fishes, spanning by the diagram you created. So I don't know if you can share more light on that. I didn't really get the connection.
Okay. Oh, I see. Good. Thank you very much. Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. You see, the connection is very simple, as I've mentioned. Some migratory birds, they are water birds. They are migratory in nature, but their habitat is mainly water, lake, wetlands, or even ponds. So when they come to actually stay in such habitats or ecosystems, you see they defecate. Their shit will get down to the soil, to the bottom of the lake, right? And once it gets down to the bottom of the lake, what will happen? It will serve as a fertilizer, as a manure, to aquatic plants. And these aquatic plants will use it actually to grow. And aquatic plants are actually food to fish.
Okay.
So fish will get enough food to feed on. And who will be the beneficiary at the end of the day? Is the fisherman. So the fisherman will end up catching quite a number of fishes, and big ones for that matter. And at the end of the day, he will have enough money, good money in his pocket. And that will enhance his livelihood and also improve the local economy. So you can see the connection, Mr. Francis.
Yes. Very, very, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Longjiba also asked the same question, but I guess from the answer I think the question has been addressed. So
Good.
any other question, please, before we move to the next presentation.
There is a comment on cooler birds, which I wanted actually to make from the beginning, after when Suleiman actually finished his presentation. And it was a question asked by Yunusa from Unguru. Obviously, this issue of cooler birds, it has been on for quite some time, if you could remember. But the main issue there is the matter of coordination. It has nothing to do with research. We know the problems. We know how that can be tackled. But there is no ministry or agency that has shown the kind of interest, to take the leadership and coordinate what is supposed to be done to address the issue. I'm glad Lydia is actually with us in this forum. Their ministry has been conducting aerial spray, but they normally do it at a very wrong time, and they don't even get to the areas where these cooler beds are. We have the data, we have the information. If you go to our library in Nguru, in fact, all that is needed, to be done to tackle this issue is there. But we have to coordinate. We have to get somebody that will do the coordination work and then get it done. Thank you very much. That is just my comment.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Dr. Suleiman, this is related to you. Lydia, this is related to you, and Mr. Mohammed Inusa also as well. So thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful presentation. And we would move to the next presentation by our founder, Mr. Felix Olusola Bayomi. So you can unmute yourself. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Mine is not much of a presentation. I just want to raise our consciousness once again, stemming from what our three speakers have, elucidated for us, from the concept, of migratory birds. The fact that birds move from one place to another for breeding, for wintering, food, and other reasons that are, by nature, innate in them. And then the connection to their importance, what they do, the ecosystem services they provide. And the fact that to be able to do this, they also need to feed. And they are dependent on insects. Like the warbler was said to almost double its size before embarking on this journey. Insects have their own role in the environment as well. They could be pests to agriculture, and they could be also beneficial in terms of for pollination. And birds, insects, and as Mr. Boye had rightly elucidated for us, the direct connection to us as humans, our livelihoods, the values. So the three speakers have done a great justice from showing us the link between the birds, the insects, the importance of the migration, the importance of the migration routes, the flyways, and then to us humans, everything is for us, for our livelihoods. And we need to be conscious of how we affect the environment. Already, the environment is already impacted greatly by climate change. It's impacted by continuous habitat destruction. What more can we do to impact the environment negatively? But what more can we do to impact the environment positively? By making positive choices, reduce pollution, reduce waste. So every day when we go out there, every day when you walk in a park, every day that you are conscious of your environment, you are conscious of the fact that we are living in an environment that we depend on each other. The birds, the insects, and then us humans. And I'm, I would like to congratulate all our speakers, the amazing work you are all doing in your different fields. Personally, Wildlife of Africa Conservation is a self-funded organization. We don't have grants, we don't have donors, but we do what we can as volunteers. And we would continue to keep you in our minds as our, because I like to support research and entrepreneurship. You are the people on the front lines, and we will support you in whatever work you are doing so that you can do more. So we will keep that in mind. I can't promise anything to you right now, but know that you are in our minds, and we really appreciate you for coming to share your wealth of knowledge with us. We will call on you again, and we would hope you would heed our call. So for everyone who have attended, please let us be mindful of our environment. When you see these birds, like I said, even in the last presentation, take pictures. Let's be at one with nature, and we'll continue every day. We'll talk about it. We will not stop because people that are destroying the environment are not stopping. We have to continue to talk about it. We have to continue to share knowledge. We have to continue to educate ourselves and educate others. I learned a lot of things today, new things today. I don't even know that they are doing data as to the fastest birds, the rate at which they fly, the rate at which they travel. I don't even know they are doing such research. I don't even know how that is going on. And even to the fact that penguins, I don't even know penguins migrate. I'm learning that today. They migrate by not flying, they walk, with their feet. Emus migrate. Emus don't fly, knowing that they migrate. And, having that, knowledge and refreshing, it's important for us. And we hope if we call on you again this time again next year and for other events, we need to continue to refresh ourselves. And whatever we can do, we would support even the country, um, in terms of efforts to protect the migratory birds. They are very, very important. Yes, we understand that they could be called pests for humans, but they also have their positive rules because while they are feeding on these plants, they are also putting back nutrients, into the ground for these plants. So we just have to find a balance, and whatever work is being done in that does not include, killing of these birds. We will be much interested, to participate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And that is a nice one. While the meeting initially, I was not able to introduce some important people in our midst, and if time permits, I would like to introduce them and see if they could contribute to the topic of today. And first on my list is Dr. Gabriel Dedike. Please, sir, I would want you to unmute yourself. It's not possible for this meeting to go and to finish without me calling upon you. And second after you will be, please, sir, I really appreciate you guys being here. Then we'll have Mr. Longji Bako. Thank you. And we have Mr. Newton and James. He was one of the coordinators for yesterday's excursion. Sorry, sir, I'm trying to recall your rank because it's important that I address you with that, but I'm sorry if I'm not able to remember that right now. So I really recognize and welcome you here. Thank you for being here with us. And we have Dr. Gabriel Dedeke, sir. Please go ahead, say something
Professor
to
Gabriel Dedeke.
Professor Gabriel Dedeke. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here in this webinar. And I want to thank all our speaker, the presenters, for the work they have done for educating us adequately on bird migration, the impact of it on our life especially, and what we are supposed to look out for. We have to actually look out for them. I usually say is whatever you give to the environment is what the environment will give back to you. Okay, it's just like that the giggle thing, garbage in, garbage out in computer. It goes for the environment. Whatever you give into the environment will also dish back to you. And in most cases, the way to dish it back to you will be much more than you expected. Okay, so we need to pay attention to that. If we are going to save migratory bird, we need to pay attention to what we do to the environment, especially emerging pollutants now. Things like persistent organic pollutants in the environment, we need to find a way of reducing them. Plastic pollution in the environment, especially microplastics, nanoplastics, they are becoming great threats to migratory birds, especially water birds that filters through the water for what they will eat, okay? Or that even feed on fish. Fish will feed on will consume microplastic, birds will consume the fish, and so on. The cycle continues, and it gets back to man. So we need to work on things like this. At the same time, we need to educate the people about the ecosystem services. You know, most of the time, when we are educating people on the usefulness of birds, we just want to tell them about what they can see, aesthetics, and this and that. What about other functions that they cannot really see? So we need to quantify that and let them be able to know, even in monetary terms and in front of their health, to let them know that this is the impact of these birds to us. And when we do that more and more, we will be able to probably begin to convince people to preserve these birds and not to just go all out to want to kill them like we normally do. You know, I just would like to stop here so that I won't take all of your time. Thank you so much for organizing this, and it's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much, sir. We're happy that you're here with us and we really appreciate. I'd like to call on Dr. Aladeshida, please. Can you kindly unmute yourself?
Thank you for the invite, and sincere apologies that I couldn't join the seminar on time. I had some urgent need that got my attention, and I believe that it's been a very inspiring and refreshing discussion so far. Migratory birds, yes. Prof. Dedeke has mentioned some of the top things on my mind, and I should add to that education should go beyond the tourism aspect, and which is very crucial and important, but should also go as far as looking at the ecological importance of these birds and the reason why we must preserve migratory top gaps. Otherwise, you have a large ecological space being lost because the animals that probably would be involved in dispersal of seeds and what have you are no longer finding such places to stop while on their migratory route. I'm also aware that a lot of efforts are being put into conserving some of our migratory routes in Jos and some part of the wetlands in Lagos. I just am worried about such migratory routes in areas that are prone to banditry and violence. Efforts need to be made to also throw more light into that area so that we can also assess what we have lost and what can be done to bring back such places after such banditry activities have been nipped in the bud. Thank you very much once again, and happy World Migratory Birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. Please, can Mr. Longjibako unmute himself and just say something? Thank you, sir.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Hi, Perpetual. Well done. You are doing a very good job. Well done to Wasi.
Thank you, sir.
I want to appreciate the presenters, some of which I know. Dr. Suleiman, Harry. I think these are people we have been out in the field at some point. With the Nigerian Birth at Last project at some point, I guess. Well done, and Mr. Boyi, and all of you that made the presentations. It was a good one. But yes, as an ornithologist, I should maybe give a few contributions, which I would say that I don't know if maybe I missed it. Dr. Suleiman was talking about the background that has to do with migratory birds. So we have two groups of the migratory birds, which some are the intra-African migrants. Yes, someone talked about short distance migration, but maybe it's good to know the terms. So the intra-African migrants, such as the Abdim stock. There is one importance which is maybe neglected, but it's the fact that these birds move with the rains. And even in the olden times, people get to understand that maybe the rains are about to start when they see these birds. The Abdim stork, the violet-backed sterling, and some of the cuckoo birds. We also have the Palearctic migrants, which are the ones, most of the warblers that go to Europe, go to UK, and then back to Africa. So I've talked about the two groups. But there was also something that was discussed talking about the behavior of birds that migrate. Most of the birds that migrate, if not all. Of course, with science continues to unravel a lot of facts, but I know that it's been established that most of the birds the migratory birds have that as an innate behavior. So even if you have a bird in captivity, because these experiments have been carried out, that they have birds kept in the aviaries, and when they get to that point, like they get mature and it's the season for migration, they've observed this pre-migratory restlessness, some form of locomotor activity observed by these birds, meaning that they wish to fly and migrate, but they are put in a cage. So it means that this behavior is in them. This would discourage the idea of this ex situ conservation because we are affecting their phenology. If these birds are supposed to move and they're in the cages, they can't move. So humans are not doing a very good job when we think that we are conserving birds in a cage. These are a few things that I have to say. But also, Mr. Felix was talking about not being aware that a lot of work has been going on. I think maybe, yes, the conservation in Nigeria needs to blow so much more trumpet of what they are doing. There are a lot of projects. I mean, that birds are being tagged with radio tags and then observed their movements. Even Aplori is doing a lot of such projects. Right now, there's a PhD position that is being announced for someone to tag the yellow-billed kite and the black-billed kite. The black-billed is an intra-African migrant. So a lot of projects like that are going on. Yeah, and thank you for the opportunity. I just stepped out of the lab because I'm doing some work, maybe just to show my face, and then hi, everyone.
Hello, it's nice to see you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that contribution.
Yeah, sorry, Pep. Why is showing before he goes back to the lab? Can we just have a group photo? Because I know some people may want to leave. So
Yes,
can we
no,
take the
really.
group photo before they leave? If everyone can turn on their cameras. All right. I hope it has been taken.
Francis, did you take it?
You didn't tell me to. Should I?
Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay, 1 minute. I got the first one. One minute. Yeah. Yes, I got it.
Okay, thank you
Thank you,
so
everyone.
much, Francis.
Let's continue.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Sorry, I failed to recognize the Conservator General, Dr. Ibrahim Musa Goni. I don't know if he's still here. He was here. I don't know if he's still here. So I want to welcome you if you're still here. Thank you for being part of us today, and we're sorry for not recognizing you earlier. If you're still here, please, you'd indicate by raising your hand and I'll beckon you on. But now we have Mr. Abubakar Abdulaziz raising his hand. Sir, please, can you unmute yourself? If you have a general, now we have time for general question. In case you want to ask any question at all, so that before we can go, you can raise your hand and ask the question. Mr. Abubakar Abdulaziz, can you please unmute yourself and go ahead? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Abubakar Abdulaziz. I don't know if we can get the soft copy of these presentations in our.
Yes, I've already gotten your email address, Mr. Abubakar Abdulaziz, and I will forward it to you. And as many that are interested in getting the soft copies of the presentations, you can kindly forward your email address or you can indicate. We'll send it via your emails. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other question, contributions?
Thank you.
Is this still
Hello?
something? Sir, we got you. I've gotten your email address. I will send it to you via email. Any other question or contributions, please? Any other question? Okay. If none, please let's give the floor to Ms. Eniola Adeola for the closing remark for today. Please, Ms.
All right.
Eniola, can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Ma, for this opportunity once again. On behalf of Wildlife of Africa Conservation Initiative, I'd like to say thank you, everyone, for joining this insightful discussion on migratory birds. Today's webinar has highlighted the incredible journeys these birds undertake, the challenges they face, and the critical role we all play in their conservation. From the importance of preserving their habitat to ensuring their safe passage across continents, it's clear that we are all connected by their migratory paths. As we conclude, let us remember that the work doesn't stop here. Each one of us has the power to advocate for migratory birds protection, whether through making awareness, conservation efforts, or even small actions like planting trees. Together, we can ensure that future generations witness the beauty of these birds and their remarkable journeys. Once again, we'd like to say thank you to everyone for their time. To our speakers, we'd like to say thank you for sharing their insights and also their commitment to protecting migratory birds. Let's continue to be their voice and their guidance. Thank you very much for a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for sharing our wealth of knowledge, our speakers, everyone. And on behalf of the team, we say thank you. Wasi is on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Wildlife of Africa Conservation Initiative. Do well to follow us. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you
on
so
TikTok
much,
now
Ms.
too.
Eniola. Yes, we are.
We're on TikTok now.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir, we are on TikTok now too. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohamed Garba. I really, really appreciate you showing up. Mr. Harry Hanson, thank you. Despite your busy schedule, you were able to make it. Dr. Suleiman, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, so much for being here with us. I really appreciate you. Mr. Mohamed Boyi, please, you know that me and you, we have pending discussion. So I'll get back to you on that, please, after the meeting. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prashant Kumar
All
from
right.
India. All right, sir. Thank you, Mr. Abubakar Abdulaziz.
There
I
was
really
also someone
appreciate you
from
for coming.
Kenya.
Okay.
There's someone from Kenya. Is it still here? Because it's interesting to know that was where the first
John, it's Mr. John in Kenya.
the first World Migratory Day was celebrated. Was in
Yeah.
Kenya, and there is someone from Kenya.
Thank you, Mr. John. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for coming. Thank you, Mr. Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Professor Gabriel, thank you. Thank you for having you here. I really appreciate
My
you.
prof,
Dr.
sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi.
It's really nice seeing you again. It's been a while.
Sorry, I've been a bit busy with quite a number of things to attend to. In fact,
No
today I'm in the
problem.
mechanic village now, attending to certain
Oh,
things in my car. So I just sat down there following the the program. It's been nice.
Thank you for the job you are doing.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Aladeshi. That it's also been a while. It's really been a while.
In fact,
yeah.
I and another student that we are in the same boat. we have to force them on our campus to give us about it's not even up to 3 weeks, about 29 days of break. From work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Babangida Usman. I'm seeing you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I sent you a message, so please check this out.
Okay, I will.
On your WhatsApp.
I will do so.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Also, I want to thank Mr. Martins Emmanuel. Thank you for always showing up. Anytime we have a program like this, I always see you. So thank you for always being active with us, Mr. Usman Kimbian, if I pronounced your name correctly.
Mr. Dairo, Miss Bo Kale, Felicia.
ACP Usman Kimbian. ACP Usman Kimbian.
Okay, ACP Usman Kimbian, thank you for coming. Really appreciate your coming here. Thank you. And DCP Newton, thank you. I don't know, I think he has stepped out. I was trying to get your rank, and now finally I've gotten a DCP Newton. Thank you for being here. He was,
give us a brief information of what happened yesterday at the expression.
In fact, yesterday event was really, really interesting and impactful. The students were very happy that such an event was held. It was really educational, if I may use that. The national park.
Can you share some pictures?
Some of the pictures? Okay, I can. The national park staff were really, really helpful. So we really, really wanted. In fact, we're really, really appreciative of them, especially DCP Newton, ACP Hawamanga, and CP Moses, CP Amos Junior. They I don't know if I'm able to like this. Hold on. I'm really having network issue. Okay. I'm coming. Let me go to where I have a bulk of them. So please 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this is it. This is yesterday event. Can everyone see my screen though?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. This is Mr. Olatunji. He was our educator yesterday. He was one that taught us all about migratory birds, took us on tour, explained and showed us how we can do bird watching with the binoculars, and the students were really, really happy about it. Here are all when the students were also trying to capture some birds, see if they can see some birds themselves. It was really, really an interesting experience. This is when he was showing them some of the birds via the bird watching guide, the Western, the bird, the Western, the one that Dr. Suleiman mentioned initially. So the students were presented, they presented, they gave presentation on migratory birds, and it was really awesome. They did powerful. It showed that they took their time to really research on the topic, and they did great. They were happy.
Can you tell us where it took place and how many schools were part of this wonderful initiative?
Okay, it happened at the National Park Service headquarters. 2 schools were part of the initiative, but later we had an extra school. I think they also came for the migratory bird events, but when they saw ours, they saw the topic the teacher was, Mr. Olatunji was teaching, and they begged if they could join us, which of course we obliged them to join us. They joined our own
event.
group, and
Yes.
yes, they joined our own, and we did the bird watching together with them, went for that to the hall where we had the conservation talk, and it was really, really interesting yesterday. They were really happy before they left. So
Do you have list of species that you saw in the park?
yes, I have, but it's on my notes.
So it's all right. It's important actually. It's all right.
Yes, I actually have list of species that we cited. Yes. Mm. Mm. So that's it.
Thank you for
That's
sharing.
lovely.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
thank
for
you
sharing.
for
That's a
taking
big
time
remark.
out. Yes, sir, you said?
I said thank you, and thank you, Petra, for sharing with us,
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
for
sir.
sharing with us this information, and it is good. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye, everyone. See you
Yes, bye.
soon.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
everyone.
Dr. Aladishira is saying that I can share the list of species that was cited on the WhatsApp group. I will do so, sir. I will do so.
Okay.
I will share it,
Great.
sir.
That'll be nice.
All right, sir.
Bye. Have a wonderful day.
All right, bye,
All right.
sir.
Prashant, good to see you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay,
We are
bye
really
Thank you,
everyone.
sir.
appreciative.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
My
everyone.
mentor, thank you.
Bye.